We're in the midst of the Shleishim, 30 days since the burial of those who were murdered in Bondi Beach on the first night of Hanukkah. They themselves are Kedoshim, holy. They reached the highest level on high because they were killed for being Jewish, which we say is, you can't get any holier than that. Those of us who remain behind, how do we carry on? How do we move forward after such a desecration of God's name? Such a terrible event that happened to us. And here we have the contradiction of the Jewish experience throughout our history to once again guide us in our way forward. And a unique perspective that I think we can take to guide us at present in how to move forward. Taken from the portions of the Torah that we're reading these weeks, starting from the story of Joseph. Joseph comes down to Egypt and he is sold by his brothers. That's enough to make someone indignant, make someone angry, make someone unable to carry on and to continue in a positive way. He's sold into slavery. He's then, his master's wife tries to seduce him. When he wouldn't succumb to her advances, he's put into prison. He's there for 10 years. The butler and the baker of the Pharaoh find themselves in the same prison as him. He translates their dreams. He tells the butler, please remember me to Pharaoh, and he's waiting for 2 years to be remembered. He could have been so disappointed and so angry and give up because of the lot of his life, but he didn't. Why? What is it that made Joseph a positive person to the extent that when he sees the butler and the baker all upset, he says to them, why is your face so sad today? That means Joseph himself wasn't sad. He wasn't walking around sad. Why? Because Joseph saw something remarkable. He saw incredible success, but every touch turned to gold. The Torah tells us, Vahi ish matzliach, he was a successful man. Everything he did was extremely successful, and that's why his boss and then his prison warden placed him in charge of everything that was going on. What that told Joseph is, regardless of all the negative that's happened to me, I have a destiny. I have a destiny. That's why I'm here. Otherwise, why would I be supernaturally successful? And we saw it. It turned out he became viceroy of Egypt. He saved humanity from famine, and he saved his family. Joseph saw all that, and that's how he was able to carry on. Now later on, the Jewish people go down to Egypt. For 86 years, we're enslaved, the most worst kind of slavery. How is it that the Jews did not become despondent? The Torah tells us, as much as they made them suffer and enslaved them, so our numbers exploded. What do we mean exploded? Well, they started at 70 and they were in millions before we went out of Egypt. Remarkably, having children is a great blessing. Abraham prays for children, he gets one son, Yitzchak. Rivka and Yitzchak pray for children, they get 2 children, Yaakov and Esav. Rachel doesn't have children, she prays for children, he has 2 children. The Jewish people in Egypt explode in incredible numbers. That said to them that they know they're not here as a punishment of sin. They're here for a purpose. God made some kind of decree, they don't understand why, but he told Abraham they're going to be in Egypt for a long period of time, but afterwards they're coming out and they will bring the destiny of humanity will be in their hands, because they're going to receive the Torah at Sinai, which is the transformation of all humanity. For that, they needed a preparation going through Egypt. But because they were so successful and the numbers exploding, that told them that this is a matter of destiny. And if you want the same thing happening in our time, October 7th was the worst day that happened in Israel since the Holocaust. But since, there's been an incredible success story in getting rid of our enemies. Hamas and Hezbollah and Syria and Iran getting rid of the nuclear facilities. And now they're teetering. They're almost ready to be totally destroyed, remarkably. So on the one hand, we had this terrible event, but on the other hand, you see miraculous salvation. And the same thing is true economically and technologically. And all those countries threatening Israel are now buying from Israel arms and technology for the sake of their own security. Remarkable. And that's what I take now going forward. Yes, we had this terrible event, and we're not going to get our head around it. But since I've seen an incredible success in the message, in the mission, and the purpose of the Jewish people exploding. I'm sure if you walk through the shopping center and you're visibly Jewish, if you have a big Magen David, you have a kippah on your head, people will approach you and say, we are with you. Happens to me all the time. Every time I walk through a shopping center or in a place with a lot of people, they approach me and say, I want to tell you, the Australian people are with you. And I always turn to them and say, turn those sentiments into actions by getting involved in mitzvahs rabbanai. And that's where we see incredible successes, things that we never imagined. How the government has taken on this mission, this purpose of turning the negative into positive, into doing good things, to make our society and Australia a great place, a good place. And the successes that I've seen in talking to many of those who would be considered negative to Israel, and having the opportunity of sit with them and talk to them, are seeing a change in perspective. And that's a challenge we have to take now and do and act on, because people are ready to listen at least. And when we talk sense and common sense, they accept it. And that's what we're seeing now. And there's going to be more successes going forward. I'm not private to say it yet, but it's amazing stuff happening that's telling me this is a time of destiny. This is a time for us to transform the state, this country, and through that the world. We're seeing it. We have to we have to grab the moment and run with it. Why this terrible thing happened, outside of our frame of reference and ability to understand. But we do know, by the fact of our successes to date in the last month, that we have destiny on our backs, on our shoulders, pushing us forward. Hashem has a mission for us, and we have to actualize and make it happen. We have to use the time, the opportunity to really make this happen. Just like we're seeing in Israel. Now, there's the possibility of the fall of the evil regime of Iran. Remarkable. They're seeing 10 plagues practically happening to them. There's the water turned to blood, they have no water. There's no agriculture. The locusts take the agriculture, they have no agriculture. Darkness, there's no electricity. It's, again, 10 plagues. They're having the 10 plagues. Remarkable. The people who, the regime who sits at the head of all the evil terror arms against the Jewish people in Israel is virtually going to fall. And this actually, once again, is the fulfillment of what it says in the Yalkut Shemaini, works that were written 1,300 years ago. Well, the Yalkut Shemaini says that before Mashiach comes, the king of Persia will fight against the king of the West, Edom. And the West will take them over. And the Jewish people beforehand will be worried. They'll be running. Where should we go? Where should we go? Where should we hide from these missiles that are coming at us? And Hashem says, my children, do not be worried. Everything I've done for you. The time of your redemption has come. Wow. Is that what we're seeing now? Hopefully, we will see it with the coming of Mashiach very soon. Good Shabbos.